One, first and foremost, thank you for helping me get to 800,000 subscribers. Crossed yesterday evening, and I appreciate you very much if you're subscribing. I appreciate you if you're not subscribed and you're watching. You could remedy that, though, by just clicking the subscribe button and propel us toward 1 million subscribers. Hopefully by the end of the year. That would be probably unattainable. Pretty bananas, but I would be very appreciative. Secondly, I want to say something that you probably never heard me say, which is to stop electing stupid people to high office. You've never heard me say that. No one has ever heard those words cross my lips. Stop electing stupid people to high office. And I'm not just talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not just talking about Lauren Boebert. I'm not just talking about Matt Gaetz. I'm not just talking about Paul Gosar. I'm not just talking about Louis Gohmert. I'm not just talking about the host of idiots in the House of Representatives. I'm talking about United States Senator from Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin. Yeehaw! Yeah, yeehaw! Markwayne Mullin. Nepo baby. Rode his father's success and coattails into the business that he has now. He was born on a giant pile of money, and he turned that giant pile of money into a slightly larger pile of money. Just a Herculean effort. And he was on yesterday with Jake Tapper, just illuminating the point that we should stop electing stupid assholes to high office. And he was being asked about Donald Trump's recent comments about using the United States military to go after political opponents, to handle the radical left lunatics, the enemy from within. And then he names Adam Schiff, the Pelosi's, and we know what he said about long-term prison sentences for supporters of Kamala Harris, like you. People who have donated to the campaign, like possibly you, like me. And Markwayne Mullin goes into this word salad nonsense like you would expect from a stupid person, but also he uses the phrase that it's being taken out of context, even though how many times have you seen the clips? I don't just cut a clip, here's an 8-second soundbite, oh, run with it. I give you a fuller context. I play clips that are 2.5, 3 minutes long, sometimes even longer, for a reason, to give you the full context so you understand exactly what's going on. You know what took place before what was said, and a lot of times you know what took place after. You know what was said after. That's why I do that. So idiots like this, assholes like this, un-American tools like this can't claim that it was taken out of context. He also says a bunch of other nonsense that we'll address about domestic terrorism, January 6th. But first, here's this moment between Jake Tapper and Markwayne Mullin.
Talk about Congressman Adam Schiff as one of these lunatics, in his view. Today at the Fox Town Hall, he talked about the Pelosi's. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I think it's kind of taken a little bit out of context of some degree, but when you start talking about the enemy of the state, remember, after January 6th and prior to January 6th, you heard domestic terrorism used over and over again by the FBI and other intelligence agencies, and they specifically targeted Republicans at the time. I'm not saying we should do tit for tat at all. That is not what should happen. But we do need to be looking at who's trying to destroy our American system, who's trying to destroy the democracy that we have, and take a very, very, very hard look at it. Going after political opponents, we're too good of a country to do that, Jake. But at the same time, we can't be weaponizing our U.S. government against individuals. And we know that the left has done that. We've seen what they've done to President Trump. We've seen what they did after January 6th, and it hasn't slowed down. We need to stop this and say, listen, we agree to disagree on certain issues. Jake, you and I agree and disagree on some issues too. But I'm not going after you and you're not going after me. We can sit down and have a cordial conversation. That's where the American politics need to go all together.
What do you mean the FBI, that you take issue with what they did after January 6th? I mean, the FBI was investigating people that broke the law and broke into the Capitol and committed acts of violence and tried to stop the constitutionally mandated electoral count. You're not talking about the criminals that did that.
No, I'm talking about defining a whole group of individuals as domestic terrorism and going just directly to them, researching individuals by looking at their phones, where they were at in the proximity of it, and then researching them, going into them, weaponizing the IRS to go after business owners or people that might have been associated with them or businesses that were associated by them. And this is, I'm not making this stuff up, Jake. You know this to be factual. And so what I'm sitting there saying is that why are we doing this? Why are we going after each other that we agree to disagree with? But when one side has weaponized the political system and the government to go after a group of individuals like they have, and Republicans with the Democrats going after President Trump and nonstop going after him, it does say, okay, when do we say enough is enough? And I would hope after November 5th that we can say enough is enough. But here's what I'm afraid is going to what's going to happen November 5th. If the Republicans win, the Democrats are going to cry, he's an illegitimate president like they did in 2016, and they're going to continue to try to go after him and impeach him and say the election wasn't fair. Vice versa, if the Republicans were to lose and God forbid Kamala gets elected, then we'll probably hear the same thing from the right, too. And so what I'm saying is, like, after the election, November 5th, let's just try as a country to put the country first rather than putting party politics first. I'm so tired of party politics because we're ruining the great country that's given all of us a tremendous opportunity and a place to live.
Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma, thanks so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Idiot. Yeah, domestic terrorism was talked about a whole bunch after January 6th, was it? Why, pray tell, Markwayne Mullin, would domestic terrorism be invoked after a domestic terrorist event in the country? I wonder why. Terrorism is defined as someone trying to achieve a political goal through violence and intimidation and fear. That's exactly what took place on January 6th, you moron. That's why domestic terrorism was bandied about and thrown about and talked about, related to domestic terrorists. Secondly, who's trying to destroy our democracy? We need to take a look at that. Who's trying, huh? Who tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election? Who tried to end democracy in America? Who has said that because of what took place in 2020, the Stop the Steal thing, because of that, he has every right to terminate all rules, regulations, and articles up to and including the Constitution of the United States? It wasn't Joe Biden, dipshit. It was Donald Trump. Who has said that he will dispatch the military to handle his political opponents who are radical left lunatics? You think Adam Schiff, corporate Democrat Adam Schiff, is a radical left lunatic? You think Nancy Pelosi, who hasn't ever seen a stock trade she didn't love, you think she's a radical left lunatic? You maniac? You idiots? As much, that really probably popped the mic there, as much consternation and disappointment I have with Jake Tapper on an almost daily basis now, this is Jake Tapper of old. This is what journalists should do, to ask the questions, to show these people for who they are to the American people. That's the job of journalists. So in this case, not a lot of criticism. What do you think, though? I would love to welcome you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments. We can disagree agreeably. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work, helping me make these videos. You can be a producer of this content. Click the join button below. For $2 a month, you can help me do just that by becoming a channel member. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast and help there. I would appreciate it very much. Follow me on social media if you love a terrible time. I'm at Dollemore everywhere, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Blue Sky, Twitter. Wow, That's great. That's awesome that I'm starting to disincorporate Twitter from my my understanding of social media. That's really the worst. Elon Musk is a terror. At Dollemore is where you can find me. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go. I love you and appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.